Hi, welcome to the bathtub, where when you see this floppy sun hat, you see this sun cream, and you hear this music.
Let's go surfing now, everybody's learning now, come on a safari.
And it stops really quickly so no one sues us, and then you hear this music. And you hear this music. I can play that longer because I don't think I get sued for playing the Marseillaise. And you see these flags, which are sent up to me from the Pismo Beach prop department. They made these down in Pismo Beach for me. The Italian flag and the French flag. And you see emblematic food from those countries. Pasta. And the only thing I have in the whole house, it's French. Pain au raisin. Raisin sweets, raisin pastries. And they see a old guy drinking white wine and his dog trying to get at you. Then you know, after the longest preamble in the history of YouTube, that it's time for an episode of Honey, pack the bag, stick the kids in the trunk, tie the dog to the back of the car. We're going on a Coronacation. This is a Coronacation. This is a new theme show here at the bathtub. Lucky has to get up because, oh my God, because whatever we talk, and she's near us, she has to get up. Okay, now I have to stay up here. Get down. And I got to take this hat off because I'm already starting to sweat. Okay, so the premise of this is that, I was thinking this week that, Lucky, get down. I was thinking this week that last week, 2 weeks ago, my wife and I should have been flying back from Italy. And we were going to go to Italy for a 2-week holiday. Part of Tuscany I'd never been to. My wife was going to do a painting workshop, and I was basically going to do what I do on holiday, which is I was going to take my books from one bathtub in my country to another bathtub in another country, and I was going to read books in another country, which I was looking forward to. And then, of course, the pandemic came, and then the government completely, I don't know what the hell they've been doing. And, we're obviously, excuse me, I've got allergies today. It looks like we're never leaving the house. Okay, none of us are ever going to go anywhere. We're not going to go on any holidays. We're going to spend the rest of our lives with a dog. And I figured we should do some Coronacations. And that's the joke of it, is that we're trying to think of books that we would have taken on holiday to other countries. Okay, so that's the whole premise. That was a huge waste of time setting all that up. Anyway, the writer I wanted to talk about this week was, excuse me, people rubbing their nose on TV is disgusting. I started reading this week a writer who I'd kind of been wanting to read for a little while. His name's Andrea Camilleri, and he's an Italian novelist who wrote a series of detective novels about a guy named Salvo Montalbano. And I read the first 3 of these in the past few weeks. The first is called The Shape of Water. These are in sequence. They're kind of the sort of books that you would take on holiday to another country. Like if I was going to Italy, I was planning to take a set of these books with me to Italy. And the second one's called The Terracotta Dog. It's a weird title. And the third one's called The Snack Thief. And they're kind of a series. They're not really mysteries. So it's not like, Perry Mason, like who murdered the political guy, or who murdered the couple in the cave. It's really sort of the life of this detective who's kind of an asshole. He's basically kind of a jerk and kind of selfish. Lots of women tend to like him, so I don't identify with the guy at all. A lot of women, they're always kind of throwing themselves at him, and he's really not interested. He's much more interested in food. So the joke with the Montalbano, I don't know if that's what he looks like. It's not how I imagine him. Is that he's constantly eating. He loves to eat. He's not like me. He's not portly like I'm becoming. He just really likes to go eat good food. And every time women call him, they say they want to meet him somewhere. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm really busy. I'm just grabbing a sandwich." And then he goes to some really nice restaurant. It has usually fish. He has fish and lots of nice sauces and pastas. Yeah, it's kind of a funny character. These are very cleanly written books. They kind of flow right past you. They go really quickly. They're sort of amusing. The mysteries are more like a series of kind of weird occurrences around this town. This town, is it Vigata? I think it is a part of. He's in Sicily, basically. I think he's Sicilian, and all these places take place around there. And he's a reader, so he's always reading books that are kind of odd books. Like in one of them, he's rereading William Faulkner's Pylon, which is actually a pretty interesting William Faulkner book that nobody ever reads. And he's reading it for like the 20th time or something. He's obsessed with certain books. So he's basically a big reader too, and he likes to sit around reading his books and eat fish. He goes around kind of he knows the locals, and he starts to develop these kind of relationships. And I enjoyed the first two books. The first one's kind of about, again, the mafia is running all around in the background, so there's all sorts of violence occurring, but the center of the stories that he's investigating aren't always about that. They don't really seem to be connected to the mafia so much as other events. This one, the Terracotta Dog, a couple of weird events in the local town lead him to find a couple who were murdered 50 years before he finds them, a young couple who were murdered, and he just kind of wants to find out what happened to them. It's an interesting little story. I liked the first two, and I was kind of, I wasn't really rushing to read the third one. But when I read the third one, I started to get it. And I think maybe the third one's the better book, too. I think the writer's starting to figure out where he wants to go. It's a little more focused. We don't have so many different things happening. And it's focused on Montalbano's relationship with a young boy whose mother disappears during a crime, and how that relationship with this little boy affects his relationship with a woman. He has a long-distance relationship with a woman because that's where he likes it. And it's sort of about how their relationship changes in the course of this investigation, and then how he reflects on his relationship with his father. And I thought that was all really interesting, and I really enjoyed this book. And I would see myself on holiday probably bringing 3 or 4 of these in a row. Again, really nice for the ambiance of this island life, and the really nice restaurants and local places to eat, and just the kind of a beautiful place to be, which is where none of us can go anymore because our country is run by idiots, and we're screwed. Okay, second of all, so that was Italy. So that was the Italy thing. Should I play that national anthem again? Hold on a second. Anyway, that was the Italy one, and then I figured, what the heck, I was gonna do. Hold on. Okay, there you go. To our friends in France and our friends in Italy, and I forget I don't know which flag is which. Anyway, my holidays basically are reading Simenon. I know I just put this at the end for those of you who are so sick of hearing me talk about Simenon. I'm reading through, as I've said several times in these talks, the entire Maigret series, which are they basically save me when I'm going crazy and I want to go somewhere, and I want to go to bookshops and go to restaurants and go have a drink at a bar, and actually go somewhere, and maybe get on a plane and fly somewhere kind of interesting. I read these Simenons, and I love the Maigret series. I think they get better and better all the way through. I strongly recommend them. They really are kind of an old person's book. I really realize how much more I love Simenon's Maigret series as I get older. And I read 2 of the best ones. One of the things, Maigret Sets a Trap. I'm sure I've read this 2 or 3 times before. It's actually been adapted. There's a series of, I think that you can see them on BritBox or something. I forget who plays them. They were playing in England when I was there. They have the guy from Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, doing a non-comic version of Maigret. And he's pretty good, actually. And they did this as the first of the series. These are great books, and they really, the middle period, they're great for France and being in Paris. And he really, Maigret spends most of his days just sitting around, kind of like Montalbano, going to the cafe, having a sandwich, getting the daily special for lunch. There's lots of talk of food, and he likes to drink he's drinking beer and brandy and stuff like that all the time during these interrogations with these suspects, and his life with Madame Maigret in this apartment in central Paris. it's wonderful. These are two great ones. And if you want to start in the middle of the series, which I kind of recommend starting in the middle. I think the early ones are good, but Paris is not as much a character as in the middle ones. Maigret Sets a Trap is a great one. Great example of how the Maigrets work, which is that it's actually a serial killer. Someone's going around killing women, and Maigret catches him fairly quick, about halfway through the book. But then the real story is, who is this guy, and why does he do these horrible things? And this guy has got two women who both want to protect. He's a crazy guy who's spent his life being protected by women. He's never grown up, and it's really and the wife and the mother are just two horrifying, scary characters. They scare the hell out of Simenon. Out of Maigret. And Maigret's Failure, which is also an excellent one, and I think I've read this before too, but reading them in sequence, that's really the way to read the Maigrets. And this is about Maigret being approached by somebody he knew as a kid who's a horrible man, just horrible. And he's murdered shortly after he comes to Maigret asking for help. And Maigret investigates his life and all the people who hated this guy. He was just a miserable bastard. And it's just a really, really good book about, basically, because the central character is Maigret, wondering about these people and why they do the things they do and how they live their lives. And then he goes off and eats a lot. So I think that's what you need for the holidays. France and Italy produced some great writers there. And I hope you have a really good Coronacation. I don't think we're ever going to get out of this stupid mess. And I watched the Democratic. I watched about 2 minutes of the Democratic National Convention. I mean, we're screwed. I'm sorry. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Don't get the coronavirus. Stay safe, and let's just hang on as long as we can. Okay? Take care. Read some good books in the bathtub. Try not to let it bother you all day. At least for a half hour, an hour a day. Just read for yourselves, and then basically the rest of the time you can panic. Basically, I do my bathtub reading, and then the rest of the day I just panic. Okay. Happy bathing.